Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. As you noticed, I am not Sam. Sam is not here this week. He is traveling. He will be back next week, but I am your co-host, Tarik, host this week. I've been promoted temporarily. Tonight, my guests are Brady and Tom, or reverse that, and it's Tom Brady. How you guys doing tonight?
Winning.
All right. All right, Charlie Sheen.
Expletive-laden feet first slide.
There's our guess. Technical issues, even though I work in IT. All right, how you doing tonight, Brady?
I'm doing pretty good. I think we've got a very interesting year of football, so I think this week's going to be just that much better.
All right, we've had a lot of upsets, even this week, not quite as much as last week. What do you think about that, Tom?
I'm just glad that I'm not a gambling man because I'd be in a cardboard box.
Yeah, so I mean, you're either winning or losing. I mean, it's just I've caught up in our rankings, which we'll pull up here in a minute, but I've caught up because I pick upsets and they actually turn out. Like, this is the year of the upset.
So this is the year where any given Sunday is proven more fact than fiction.
True story. All right, so I'll ask you, we didn't come up with a question beforehand, but I'll ask a question. You guys each give me your thoughts or a quick answer to put you on the spot. We'll do pressure. We'll keep everything going. Quick fire. All right, so what is one impression you guys got from this last week of football?
That the Tennessee Titans cannot beat teams with losing records.
Very good. That's
more on that later.
Tom, how about you?
The Lions will continue to find ways to be the Lions.
I heard someone say at work that the only reason the Lions have the tradition of being on Thanksgiving is because no one will watch their games in any other way. So my thought is, and this works for us being in Maryland, we're all Ravens fans here, that the Ravens cannot start a game by winning. They have to wait until the very end and have all of us literally on the edges of our seats. Tom and I were actually over my parents for the end of the game on Sunday, and we're all screaming at TV, scared the bejesus out of my kids. So
yeah, I was sitting in my normal spot, and then we started winning when I moved to a different spot, which is normally where my girlfriend sits. And when she wanted to sit there, I said, "You can't sit here. We're playing better. You need to move."
That's awesome. Good thing is the Broncos didn't lose because they didn't play.
Positives.
Where's that meme? I should have preloaded that into the meme like, All right. So here's our records from the week. I didn't do as badly as I thought. Brady met his goal of beating Sam this week.
I'm coming for that first place trophy.
It's mine. You can't have it, though I probably won't win it this year. All right. So, and there's Sam. Sam and I got the same record. So Sam and Brady are tied for first place. We got Jess in second, me in third, Brian trailing at fourth, and Tommy, just because we haven't been getting his picks, so we just average him out. He's coming up last.
Hey, but if this year's proven anything, it could be the year of the upset, and Tom could come from behind.
Flying up the top, leaving everyone in the dust.
There we go. All right. No peeking. I don't know where's what because it's full screen. Oh, what happens when Sam isn't here? So, Grady, tell us your game of the week.
My game of the week is the Tennessee Titans going up to Foxborough and playing those New England Patriots. And as I alluded to before, the Tennessee Titans seem to play their worst football against teams that they should beat. but they play their best football against teams that they probably shouldn't beat. And to me, this is a team that they shouldn't beat because New England Patriots, by my understanding and opinion, are playing the most well-rounded football in the last 6 weeks of any team. They're running the ball well. They're throwing the ball smart. They're protecting the quarterback. And they're playing solid defense. And you can't really ask for more of that, of a team, let alone a team that's led by Bill Belichick. Now the Titans, they've got a litany of injuries. A.J. Brown went down last week. Derrick Henry went down a few weeks ago. So I think this is really going to be the game to see whether they can be that staying force atop the AFC. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Patriots defense in Foxborough, in the cold, is just going to be a little bit too much for the Titans, who are having trouble running the ball right now without Derrick Henry. And I think this Patriots defense is going to be stifling like it was last week. And I see them coming away with a big victory here, jumping them ahead of the Buffalo Bills in the standings.
Ooh, all right. Tom, what do you have to say about that?
I just echo what he said. The Patriots, see if you heard this before. Bill Belichick with a rookie quarterback and a strong defense, smart, conservative, but effective offense. Kind of seems like Tom Brady's early days. So I'm not comparing the two by any means, but I don't envy the Titans this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, all right, so I'm going to upset this. All right, I'm going with the Titans. What happened? Reasons why I'm not the main host. But I'm going with the Titans. I think I'm with you, Brady. It's one of those patterns that just seems to emerge. They can't beat these other teams, but I feel like they got a little bit when their pieces are there, their pieces fire out. Now, Derrick Henry is still out for the year.
Not possible year.
Possible. So we don't have that, but their other pieces are shining-ish. They still got an 8-2 record. Pats are still kind of recovering from losing Tom Brady. Still rebuilding. But Belichick, he's got who knows the game better than him. So he'll get that shopping cart guy from Kmart and bring them in, and he'll be the punt returner.
Kmart.
I'm dating myself. Kmart.
The only thing that I'll say,
that guy's been waiting a long time.
What, Brady?
The only thing that I will say as we're wrapping this up is this is Bill Belichick going against a former assistant / player. And we all know how that record works out for that player / coach, whatever they are now.
True, but they're actually winning. And when their assistant went down to Miami, that didn't do anything.
It did something last year. But going against him, it's not great.
True.
You can't beat the master at his own game.
Yeah. The image from Waterboy comes into mind with the Fonz. He's just like, I know all your plays. What?
Snakes don't have parts?
If it's anything, I think it'd be the knee.
Roll it again. Let's
cut. And now you get what it's like at family dinners when Tom and I get together. We got yelled at multiple times for referencing Grand Tour and Top Gear on Sunday. All right. Tom, what is your game of the week?
It is the Ravens and Browns.
Boom. By the way, before Tom gets into his explanation and defense here, I will say not all the records on these slides will be correct. If you notice something wrong, go ahead and put it in the comments, but just so you know, they're not all right. I didn't edit everything. I had to take over all Sam's responsibilities and duties as defined tonight.
You said duties.
All right, Tom, what's your defense?
All right. Defense, you mean the lack of Baltimore's defense?
Yes, why don't we go back to 1998 and get that defense?
I think you or me or Brady could throw a 50-yard touchdown against the Ravens defense this year. There's no sacks. There's too many big plays. And their offensive line has more holes than a cheese grater. It's just they can't block anything going up against Garrett and company. It's just, as a Ravens fan, it does not look good on the horizon in my eyes. I know the Browns aren't playing the best right now, but I just see them squeaking this one out as tight as all the Ravens games have been this year. Even with Lamar back, I think the Browns are going to have just a little bit more in the tank.
Okay, Ravens fan going against the Ravens. Let's go with Ravens fan number 2. What do you say, Brady?
You know, on paper, I agree with what Tom says, but having gone back and watched the Browns game against the Lions and how Baker Mayfield is kind of carrying himself after these games and during these games, he is way more backed up than he is letting on. He should not be starting. If Baker Mayfield starts this game,
it's his other arm. He can throw.
It's his other arm, but it's a muscle. It's a thing. I know science. That I don't think he should be starting this game. I think the Browns would have a better chance of winning more football games if he was not starting right now, because he's not 100%. And because I think he is stubborn, and because I think he is, shall we say, fibbing about his injury status, I think the Ravens are going to win this game. I mean, I think the Ravens showed a lot of depth and resilience going up against the Bears last week, who, albeit, had a lot of injuries of their own, but nothing as significant as having to say, hey, you're starting this week to a backup quarterback. Eventually they had to do that, but they have a proven veteran.
Andy Dalton came in and just 2 plays later
But he is also a proven veteran. He's been around the league for 11 years. He's played the Ravens before. He's seen this defense a million times. And we're trotting out a guy who was undrafted last year and saying, hey, pick up the reins for the guy who's the talk of the town, whether you like him or not. So I think the Ravens are going to win this one. I think with the additions back of Nick Boyle and Lamar Jackson, I think the running game is going to pick up a little bit this week. And if the Browns can only get 13 points against the Lions, then, I mean, and they had 13 points early. So I think the Ravens are going to win this one. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I think it's going to be another ugly game. But I see the Ravens having this by 3.
Yeah. So Lamar should be back. He said he felt better yesterday. He felt better Monday. As soon as the game was over, he felt better. We got the Browns with the hurt Baker Mayfield. So it's kind of the opposite of what we had last week. But Ravens have not, as I stated earlier in the video, Ravens have not been starting well. They're finishing, which I guess it's more important to finish strong than start strong, because it's a 7-3 record. It would be reversed otherwise if you can't finish it, or you'd be more like the Colts. Colts start very strong. They can't finish it. They can't complete it. They can't commit. So that makes a difference there. Tom and I were talking with our dad that the Ravens' schedule the rest of the year is not fun. It's not easy. So you got to think about what's going on the rest of the year and trying to get into the playoffs. We're starting in that strat now. We're getting into the final month of football here. I have the Ravens, but I agree that it's not going to be pretty. Hopefully we can start a little stronger, and then we can finish the way we've been finishing, and then we'll be okay. As I am host, I do not have a game of the week, but I would just pick a random one. I'll just pick one so we can talk about it, and then we'll go into our quick hitters. So final one I will talk about here, we'll just do Chargers and Broncos, just because outside the Ravens, I am a Broncos fan. We got Broncos coming in after a bye week. They're going against division rivals, Chargers. I can probably pull that up. Ignore everything. There we go. So we got a similar record. It's probably, I don't know if Chargers record's probably not right. But
we went over that. It's fine.
Yeah, we went over that. It's fine. Ignore things. We're work in progress here, people. Don't judge me. Finger wagging at its finest. So we got similar records, beat up teams. Chargers started off strong. Broncos started off strong. 2 different reasons. New quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, different issues here and there. the AFC West has just kind of looked like crap lately. You got the Chiefs who just half fizzled. You got the Raiders who started strong and then so many problems with their inner workings. And then you got these two teams that are just kind of flailing by the wind here. I find it hard to pick the Broncos at all right now. Their one win was, I think, a fluke. As much as I want to root for them and see, where this can go, I just think the Broncos I think they got a little bit better talent as the Broncos are trying to build stuff. So unfortunately, I'm going with the Chargers. Brady?
I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one as well. I think their defense is definitely lacking some pieces, as we saw the Steelers offense, who hasn't been able to do much last week, put up 37 points on them. But the difference in the Steelers offense and the Broncos offense is a veteran quarterback who knows how to win those games or play in those games. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater has shown that this season, at least. And I think there are just too many targets for Justin Herbert to throw to when the Chargers on offense for Denver's defense to cover. I think this is going to be a close game because I feel like this division is getting very reminiscent of the NFC East, I believe, with the Cowboys, Eagles, Washington football team, and the Giants. They all just kind of beat up on each other at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I have the Chargers in this one, maybe by a score, but I think this game's going to be a lot closer because ever since the Broncos have traded Von Miller, their defense has gotten better.
The weirdest thing, I noticed that too, because I was like, oh, the season's done. And then they won the next game. And I'm like, wait, what? So, and the Rams have kind of gotten worse. So, yeah. So imagine that. Tom, what do you think?
I think we're going to go for the hat trick. I think there's just too many weapons for the Chargers. Not enough to compete on the Broncos side. Herbert's been kind of hit or miss. But even when he's missed, it hasn't been abominations. So I think it's going to be a one-score game. I think it's going to be pretty low. But I think the Chargers
all right
early and continue throughout.
All right, so let's go back. Ignore everything.
Rewind the script.
All right, so quick hitters. We're gonna go through. Just go bang, bang, bang. We'll leave thoughts as we leave them. If we get into discussion, we'll do it. But we'll bang through these quickly. Hence, quick hitters, quick bangers. Maybe we'll change the name.
Bang.
Right.
Product placement. I need a can of Bang, and we'd be good to
go. And then we'll go Jolt, and then Vault. We'll
Surge.
We'll go back to the 90s and early 2000s with Vault and Surge. Tag. It's a kick in a glass.
Just move it forward. We're messing up. Let's go.
All right. Chicago at the Lions. What do you think? Tom?
I think the Lions get a second tie.
Hey, I mean, you heard it here first. I mean, I was going to say something, prophetic or anything like that, but I think this is really going to be the game where Andy Dalton proves that he can still start in this league. Bears.
All right. I'm going with the Bears. I agree with Brady, and I think it has something to do with Andy Dalton dyeing his hair to match the team he's playing for. His hair did not look red on Sunday. It looked brown. It matches the Bears. Maybe that's his magic like Samson. All right. Next. Raiders at Cowboys. Brady, who do you got?
Cowboys. Even with their depleted wide receiving core, the Vegas Raiders cannot seem to put anything together cohesively on offense.
Tom?
Cowboys. There's just too much going on in Vegas, whether you got drunk drivers or emails going around. It's too much to go.
Or suing, because he's counter-suing. I'm going with the Cowboys as well. I think they're really trying to push. This is the best season they've had in decades.
Don't have the numbers on that, but I'd agree with you with that.
I think since Troy Aikman was quarterback in the 90s.
Back when they actually were America's team, because they're the
Yeah.
only ones played on basic cable.
Like I don't hate Tony Romo, but he never got through the playoffs. So I mean,
This
what
might
the
be
heck?
that team.
Yeah. All right. Next, Bills and Saints. Who you got, Brady?
I had a lot of trouble with this one, honestly, because the Bills have looked really bad in back-to-back weeks, and the Saints have looked surprisingly good, more so than I thought with Trevor Siemian at quarterback. I still have the Bills winning this one just because question mark because I didn't know who to pick because the Saints they started off abysmal last week and then they finished strong, but they still wound up losing. They dug themselves too big of a hole. But the Bills, I feel like, are just getting in their own way at this moment, and I feel like they're just poised to just beat this team. But I don't know. It's football. It's this year.
All right, Tommy.
I'm going Saints. I think the Bills still need another week to get out of whatever funk that their offense is going through, and the Saints may have found one over the past week or so. So I think it'll be a fun game. But like Brady, you're throwing darts at a board with this one.
Darts or noodles, just like slapping up there because you don't know where they're gonna hit.
Wet or dry?
So
Yes.
my question is, do I go with Brady and the Bills, or I go with Tom and the Saints? I think the Saints are going to come marching in. I'm going with the Saints. Trevor Siemian didn't look this good when he played with the Broncos. I was rooting for the man, didn't do it. I've been impressed watching him with the Saints. Like something's clicking for him. He's looking good. He's just got it. He's getting his rhythm, being a backup. I think he's going to be able to pull this off. I'm going with the Saints. Steelers and Bengals. We got a tie versus not a tie. Tommy, what do you think?
Just as the other one, it's so weird with this one. I'm going Steelers with how they played against the Chargers last week. I trust them just a little bit more. It is an AFC rival, division rival, so you can kind of throw records and stuff out the window. But after last week, I'm going with Steelers.
All right. Brady?
Just so we're clear, this is not my game of the week. Work in progress, y'all. But I have the Bengals in this one. I feel like out of the entire Steelers season, last week was an outlier. I don't think they're going to put up 37 points again this season. And I think the Bengals really found something last week in their run game that they can lean on so Joe Burrow doesn't have to throw the ball 54 times a game. And I think this Steelers defense is a little too banged up to really stop it. So I got Bengals by 10 in this one.
Yeah, so we got Bengals at home. We got the Steelers. Steelers looking banged up. Some of the steam obviously coming off of Big Ben. Probably left over from his motorcycle crash like 10 years ago. But I think the Bengals are going to pull it out. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be one of those rough ones. The main one's going to be watching going to be the rest of the AFC North. Just looking for playoff spots here. So next, Bucs and Colts. We got an interesting matchup because Bucs finally came back and destroyed the Giants last night. And then we got the Colts who can't seem to finish anything. Which way is it going to go? Brady?
It's going to go Indy's way this week, and I want to tell you why.
Please do.
Because, like I said last week, Carson Wentz is a better quarterback when he has a balanced attack, when he doesn't have to throw it 40 times a game. And with Jonathan Taylor, who's not going to get 5 touchdowns this week, let's just get that off the board. I will put money on that. That will never happen again. But I think the Colts are going to have a nice balanced attack, and they're going to lean more on the game plan that Washington brought in against Tampa and realize that they don't need to get 20, 30 yards a play. They can get 6, 7 and just take chunks off the board, because the best way to beat Tom Brady is to make sure Tom Brady doesn't see the field. Indeed.
All right. Tom Brady?
I'll take Tom Brady on extended rest to beat pretty much anybody. Yeah, That's it.
Yeah, I'm going with Tom Brady and the Tom Brady's. Patent pending, copyright, trademark. Just he knows what he's doing. He's not going to get caught with his pants down again, like he did against the Redskins, Washington football team. Colts can't finish. They can't seem to finish. The record shows that they're 5-5. I think they might hold their own. They got Jordan Taylor with some. I think T.Y. Hilton's still healthy. If they can balance it, it might go. I'll be happy to see it. But I'm going with Tampa Bay. Next slide. Carolina and Miami. Who you got, Tom?
Is Cam Newton back? And I just don't know.
Well, he's back. He's back to his old ways while he left the Panthers in the first place.
Exactly. That's why I think I'm going Miami. Just the gut feeling says they're working through it. And yeah, I'm going Miami.
Cam Newton will have a return to form game this week. He looked pretty good in his first snaps with Carolina. He looked pretty decent last week, but still some rust. I think this is going to be the week where he really shines out and he shows that he's still got some gas left in the tank.
All right. I'm going with Miami just because I was so hopeful. I was so hopeful. We talked about it last week that like Carolina's one of those teams I kind of just want to root for. And I was excited for Cam Newton to come back, and he very much disappointed me. And I can't give him respect and payment and reverence in return. So sorry, Cam Newton. Go with Miami, which hurts to say that I'm rooting.
I'm just seeing my league just climb in the standings this week. It's great. It's great.
And if you're wrong, then I climb.
Nah.
Hey, I'll make my comeback. That's all.
Tom wins league. All right. All right, so we got two losers against each other this week, two people with losing records. What do you think, Brady?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was wrong about Jalen Hurts. He looks fantastic these last 3 weeks. He is throwing the ball well. He's a little bit of a ball hog, which he's going to have to learn how to get rid of the ball a little bit better than he is. But the Giants are the Giants. They have an offensive lineman with 1 touchdown catch, and their first-round draft pick and their $72 million free agent signing have 0 combined. I think the Eagles, despite their defensive struggles, are going to run away with this game by at least 2 scores.
All right, Tom?
Eagles, the Giants can fight with the Lions for the first pick overall. It's just been so terrible. It's very unentertaining football just across the board. And like Brady said, Hurst looked decent, better than decent. So yeah, Eagles.
All right. I'm going with the Eagles as well. I just can't put any faith in the Giants right now. So, especially after the whooping they got last night. All right, next. Boom. Atlanta versus the Jaguars. 2 more teams with losing records. How are we going to do it? Tom?
We're going Matt Ryan. Just they have more than, not much more, but just a little bit more than what Jacksonville does.
I agree. I think just based on experience across the board for Atlanta, and with the Jaguars losing their top offensive and special team star in Agnew this week for the rest of the season, I don't think they're going to have much fight in them this week.
No. The only way they're going to win is if they relocate to London, where they got their first win of the season, one of their homelands. So, unless we get London Jaguars, which I'm pretty sure there are no Jaguars in London, as we go back to my lack of knowledge with where animals are located. But I am going with Atlanta. Next slide. Jets and Texans. What are we going to do? We just keep going down the board. It just gets the records just get lower and lower and lower.
But I love games like these. I mean, these are 2 teams who clearly have almost at this point have nothing to play for, but they're still playing. These are still guys who want jobs in the league. These when it comes down to it, these are the best players in the world. The Texans showed out last week and they beat the Titans pretty handily. They had them shut out for 3.5 quarters. And the Jets didn't look too bad either with Joe Flacco pulling a spot start. Went back and forth with this one for myself. I have the New York Jets in this one. Zach Wilson's coming back, and I think that they realize that they're a better running team, kind of like the Eagles did a few weeks ago, than they are a passing team. And they'll lean on that running game to set up the pass instead of trying to do it the other way around. I just don't think the Texans have enough star power to really keep them in games anymore.
Tom?
Flacco and the Jets throwing touchdowns. I mean, it's still check down Joe, but that's his specialty, even though he has a cannon. I don't foresee the Texans being able to put together back-to-back games. I don't think they have the experience, and I don't think their older guys have the talent. So yeah, Jets.
All right, I'm going with the upset on this one. I'm going Texans, mainly just because I think dominoes are just going to fall in their way. You guys are talking about experience and everything. We're going against the Jets. We're not going against the Patriots. We're not going against the Chiefs. We're not going against any of these like established things. Joe is not what he was. He's back up to the Jets. You're back up to one of the worst teams in football. So I think it's going to go Houston, and I think it's just going to be happenstance because just flip a coin on these teams, I think. All right, next. Did that one already. Skip. All right. Rams and Packers. What are we going to do? We got finally winning records here. Tom, what do you got?
Packers. I think the Rams have subtraction by addition. There's so many voices and too much ego building up in that team. I just don't see the glue. I don't see the camaraderie. I don't see the fight. And I see that with Green Bay. As long as Rodgers has something to fight against, then the Packers are going to win.
Brady, do you concur?
I was going to say, hold your breath, Tarik, because I am picking against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in this game, and I'll tell you why. I watched that Minnesota-Green Bay game as much as I could last week, and anytime that there was any pressure in Aaron Rodgers' face, he just threw the ball away. Didn't want to get hit. Which I understand. I mean, these are big guys. I wouldn't want to get hit by them either. But the main problem that I'm going to see in this game is that they lost a starting offensive lineman to a knee injury for the rest of the year. So Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and even Jalen Ramsey coming off of the bye week, rested, healthy, are going to get after the quarterback in this one. And I think that bye week, giving Odell Beckham more time to learn the playbook and kind of have the Rams figure out what exactly they can still do on offense without Robert Woods. I think the Rams are going to win this game. Even though Green Bay's defense has been extremely good, I think the Rams are just going to have a little bit too much. I think it's going to be a close game. It was almost my game of the week, but I have the Rams in this one.
I'll make it quick. I'm going with the Packers. I'm going with Rodgers. I'm going with the establishment. I know they got some injuries, but LA's now got Von Miller, which as much as he is an amazing player, I was a huge fan of him on the Broncos. Something's just bringing him down, and I don't think OBJ is as good as he thinks he is. So I'm just going with the Packers. Vikings and San Francisco. Who you got, Brady?
Vikings, they are a better team than their record indicates. They're a kicker away from having a winning record.
All right. Tom?
Vikings.
And I'm going with the upset again, San Francisco. Just because they're at home, and I think they just got a couple more things in place. All right. And then as the Monday night football game, we got the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington football team, tied record, still losing both of them. Who do we think we got? who's going to finish off this week strong. Tom, who you got?
Seattle. I think they just have a little bit more together than what Washington does. I don't see them going too many weeks in a row with enough energy and talent to hold off Seattle.
All right, Brady?
I've got Washington in this one, mainly because of Seattle's lack of a running game this year. So I think the Washington football team is going to cue in on trying to double cover those wide receivers. And I think that their ability to take large chunks off of the clock is going to really be a main key in this game.
Right, Washington actually beat Tampa Bay in the Tom Brady's the other week, which shocked everyone. I think even them. And then you got Seattle, who's they swing back and forth on a pendulum, whether they're good year to year. It's always hard to come east. There's a little more jet lag, always a little bit more. You're going from coast to coast here. But I'm going with Seattle. I think they're just going to be able to pull it out. I think Washington's still – I think they're on an upswing, but I don't think they're quite there yet. So I am going with the Seabirds. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you guys like this change in format while our esteemed host is out of town this week. Please leave him some love as he travels back home, though by the time you see this, he will already be home. Thank you to my guest this week, making it easier for me so I didn't have to do it by myself. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, my brother Tom. Thank you, Brady. Any final thoughts?
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Tom, any final thoughts?
Enjoy. It's going to be a wild one for sure.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if any of our picks are wrong. Let Brady know how far he's going to fall in the standings with his picks.
Like 6 picks up.
See if you think if Tom will do the comeback of a history and win the league. All right. Subscribe so you know when our new videos are. Thank you for joining us on this fun night. As always, I'm Tarik.
I'm Brady.
Tom.
And you have a good football week. Bye, guys.